Last season, Liverpool shocked the world. A new manager, a revitalized squad, and a Premier League title secured with 4 games to spare. But beneath all the glory was a warning. A team still overly reliant on one man. A system that needed evolution, not celebration. Now, with the rest of Europe watching and Salah aging, the Reds are building something even more dangerous. A tactical revolution in the final third. A front line capable of overwhelming any defense, with or without their Egyptian king. This isn't a rebuild. This is a reimagining. Welcome to the new Liverpool attack. They conquered England. 54 games. 123 goals. Look at the red shirts pouring in. A Premier League title sealed with complete dominance. But what if I told you that incredible season was only the foundation? Last season, Liverpool thrived in chaos. But this year, they're building something far more refined and far more dangerous. An attack that doesn't rely on one man to carry the burden, but an offensive machine capable of striking from every direction. Salah, Wartz, Diaz, Gakpo, Isak. But how effective are these players truly? And how threatening is this new, revamped Liverpool front line? Let's break it all down. Last season, Liverpool weren't just impressive in 2024-25, they were unstoppable. From the very first match day to the final whistle of the season, they looked like a side determined to reclaim their throne. With a fresh face in the dugout, taking charge in his very first Premier League campaign, they didn't just settle for a top 4 push, they steamrolled their way to glory. By the middle of March, they had already taken control of the title race, and they never looked back. With a double-digit lead at the top, they wrapped up the league with multiple matches to spare. Their pressing game, sharpened like a blade. Transitions, lightning quick and ruthless. The team looked more cohesive, more confident, and more structured than it had in years. Arne Slot was the architect of this turnaround. No adjustment period, no transition excuses, just instant results. Players who had looked out of sync the previous season suddenly clicked into gear. Possession wasn't just about keeping the ball, it had direction. Pressing wasn't chaotic, it was calculated. This wasn't just aggressive football, it was orchestrated dominance. And it worked brilliantly. But amidst all that excellence, one flaw stood out like a sore thumb: the team's heavy dependence on Mohamed Salah. Sure, Salah enjoyed one of the best statistical seasons of his career. 34 goals and 23 assists across all competitions. His numbers were out of this world. But numbers can sometimes hide patterns. When Salah was firing, Liverpool were a nightmare to face. But when he wasn't at his best, even slightly, the rhythm of the attack faltered. That over-reliance became a strategic liability. In the Premier League, Salah maintained his form and fitness. But in other key competitions, things changed. His influence waned. And when that happened, the team's attacking structure couldn't compensate. In the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup final, and most glaringly in their Champions League quarter-final loss to PSG, Salah wasn't at his sharpest. And no one else rose to the occasion. Gakpo had bright moments. Nunez fizzled in big games. The midfield trio held their ground defensively. But when Salah dipped, Liverpool's offense looked one-dimensional. That's the risk of building too much around one superstar. That's why this summer isn't about replacing Salah. It's about relieving him, creating an attacking system that remains lethal even when Salah isn't the focal point. A front line that can adapt, diversify, and dominate. And that upgrade. And as Liverpool plan for a new era under Arne Slot, a player like Ekitike could be the unexpected piece that unlocks their next evolution. So, could Ekitike actually thrive at Anfield? Let's break it all down. Back in 2021, Ekitike was one of the most exciting young strikers in Europe. At Reims, he blended elegance with explosiveness, scoring 10 goals in just 15 starts as a teenager in League One. Tall, fast, and technically sharp, he looked like the next big thing. Under Arne Slot, Liverpool will prioritize positional fluidity, vertical passing, and high pressing. That's where Ekitike becomes interesting. At Reims, he thrived in a high-pressing setup. His long strides and stamina made him effective at closing down defenders. He also played in a front two, giving him experience both as a solo 9 and a support striker. That tactical flexibility fits what Slot wants: players who can rotate, press, and adapt mid-match. Imagine Ekitike alongside Gakpo or Nunez, interchanging positions, dragging lines, and confusing defenses. He's not the polished product, but his profile is tailor-made for this transitional Liverpool. Alexander Isak. Smooth, elegant, clinical, one of the most unique strikers in the Premier League. And while Newcastle have built their attack around him, what if Liverpool made the bold move to bring him to Anfield? In Arne Slot's new system, where fluidity, pressing, and creativity are king, Isak could be the crown jewel. Let's break down why Alexander Isak might just be the missing link Liverpool need up front. Arne Slot wants a striker who can do more than finish. He wants someone who can link play, press high, rotate wide, and create space for others. Isak can play as a center forward, yes, but he's just as comfortable drifting wide left, or playing in a front two. That gives Liverpool options. He could start centrally, or rotate with Nunez. In a 4-2-3-1, he could even partner Cody Gakpo. And when injuries hit, as they always do, having a striker who can adapt to multiple roles is invaluable. Isak isn't rigid. He's a solution to several problems at once. That's Isak's entire game. He's not a typical poacher like Haaland, nor is he overly chaotic like Nunez. Isak is controlled. He drops into midfield to pull defenders out of shape. He drifts wide and combines with wingers. He times his runs to perfection and has a calmness in front of goal that Liverpool's current forwards often lack. Slot's system is built on combination play, verticality, and movement off the ball. Imagine Isak interchanging with Luis Diaz on the left, threading balls into Szoboszlai in the half-space, and arriving in the box just in time to finish it all off. It's beautiful football waiting to happen. Isak isn't loud. He isn't flashy off the pitch, but he's mature, focused, and calm under pressure, qualities that Liverpool's younger front line sometimes lacks. In big games, he keeps his cool. Against top-six opposition, he delivers. He doesn't get caught up in chaos. He controls it. Slot is rebuilding the Liverpool identity, on and off the pitch. Having a lead striker who brings calm, intelligence, and class, that's gold. Florian Wartz. Florian Wartz. At first glance, Florian Wartz might not seem like the natural solution to Liverpool's left-wing struggles. But that's precisely what makes him such a clever fit. Wartz isn't a traditional winger. He's not confined to one zone on the pitch. He's a modern creator, an architect between the lines. A player who can interpret space and tempo with rare maturity for his age. In Arne Slot's evolving in a 4-2-3-1 hybrid structure, the midfield is largely sorted. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch offer a balanced engine. What they lack is a connector between the midfield and attacking line on the left, a player who drifts into half spaces, stitches together play, and elevates those around him. That's exactly what Wartz brings. Wartz destabilizes defenses not with pace, but with positioning. He combines well with midfielders and fullbacks, draws markers out of position, and creates passing lanes. His understanding of how to operate in tight spaces is already elite. He doesn't rely on individualism. He enhances systems. Physically, he's agile, sharp, and surprisingly resilient in duels. But what stands out most is his football IQ. He takes responsibility, commands key moments, and rarely makes the wrong decision. Deploying Wartz on the left wouldn't just fix an isolated position. It would unlock a new shape in the final third. It would allow Sulla to stay higher, and the midfield triangle to stay compact. Wartz shifts the entire pitch, and in doing so, changes the way opponents defend Liverpool. This isn't just a positional change. It's a tactical evolution. Mohamed Salah. And on the right, that territory still belongs to the king. Mohamed Salah's 2024-25 campaign was one for the ages. He didn't just score, he orchestrated. He was the heart of the build-up, the killer in the box, and the bridge between midfield and attack. His vision, passing, and composure have all improved with age. He's not as explosive as he was at 25, but he doesn't need to be. He's more precise, more efficient, more deliberate. He knows when to sprint, when to hold, when to drift inside. And above all, he still delivers. His partnerships were crucial. Szoboszlai's inside runs and Bradley's emergence gave Sulla more tools to work with. And with support coming from the left now, he won't have to shoulder the creative burden alone. That makes him even more dangerous, not less. Striker position. At center forward, Liverpool still lacked a complete solution last season. Darwin Nunez started the season strong. He had his moments of brilliance, but ultimately, he didn't convince Arne Slot. Too many lapses in judgment, too many wasted chances. He had the energy, but not the calmness. And in a system built on structured chaos, calmness in front of goal is everything. Liverpool need a striker who can do more than just run and press. They need someone who reads the game, finishes efficiently. This coming season, they're building something more sustainable, more varied, more threatening. This is no longer Sulla plus support. It's an orchestra of threats, a front line designed for Europe, built for trophies, and capable of overwhelming even the strongest defenses. But what do you think? Is this new Liverpool attack as terrifying as it looks on paper? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe,